You're going to hear retard Chris Mitchell, who was a conflict of interest anyways. He used to be the counselor for Brianna's ex-boyfriend. Then he's trying to reason with Brianna in this conversation, trying to explain to her why she should take medications, and he's sounding like he's talking to a coworker or something, trying to push his medications onto people. So I want everybody to know, if you're on mental health services, you probably ought to get the fuck off it. But anyways, listen to this.
Licensed clinician that works in this building, in this field, in this world, has the right to diagnose, and trust me, there are some that are much worse than others, have the right to diagnose a given disorder based on their clinical presentation of the person sitting in front of them. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not I would agree with any of the diagnoses, because I've never had a clinical evaluation with you. We've never sat down and done that, and nor would we because of the positions that we're in currently. That being said, it's not uncommon for someone to disagree with the diagnosis that the person is treating them for. Now, in regards to PTSD versus ADHD versus depression versus bipolar disorder, there are a lot of pathologies. We're talking about, and when you look at those each, they all have a cluster of symptoms, right? And PTSD and ADHD probably have 4 or 5 that overlap with one another. Right. And generally speaking, you need 5 criteria from a diagnosis for it to be put on paper. So quite frequently, people do receive a lot of diagnoses. Do most people have a bunch of diagnoses? Probably not.
Honestly, all the things that I'm labeled as, I told my cousin, and my cousin looked at me and said, "Cuz, there's no way you're all those things." I said, "I'm not lying to you, though. I'm not making this up. This is what I'm being told that I am." And, there's no way that you can be all those things today. And I agree with that.
So here's an analogy, and I only know this because I explained this in a courtroom one time when I was in for another reason, is a doctor, and this is complete hypothetical, when you say, "I'd like to get an STI test," just out of procedure, right? I'm not going to ask about sexual history, any of that. I'd like this for my own self. They diagnose you with high-risk sexual behavior. Even if not you personally, but every single one of us that goes to the doctors and says, "I want an STI test," they give you that diagnosis. Does that mean you are out doing promiscuous things and, lewd things? Probably not. But that's how the diagnostic system works, the medical care, medical system. And I can't say it for certain that's how it's worked with you. But that's what can happen at times. The clinician says, "Here's a person, I can come up with a diagnosis, you have the building insurance, depression," right? 2 weeks later, you come in, or a month later, 6 months later, or a year, you say, "Wow, depression doesn't really fit." I think right? Maybe they don't stop depression as they should, right? So now you have depression and ADHD. And maybe when you were a kid, and this is completely hypothetical, you had an attitude, you were oppositional, and now they're thinking, "Oh, okay, maybe she's depressed and irritable. So maybe let's add that diagnosis on there." And the things can add up and add up and add up without them actually still being relevant, right? So I would say, I don't know. I haven't looked at your chart to see what is Brianna's diagnosis today. I have no idea. But that is something you can talk to your psychiatrist specifically about.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I totally understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
But I just want to let you guys know that the T in PTSD has been placed in me by you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm traumatized by what happened. I was taken from my child for a month and a half, okay? He was in 3 weeks old when I left. He was inside 3 to 6 months when I got home.
Yeah.
That's traumatizing, devastating to me. Now, I was provoked. I was lied upon. There was false information, a lot of stretched truth, and, a bunch of stuff like that. And I never received the full statements. I have bits and pieces of statements that were made. I don't know who to trust around me anymore because I don't know who said what. And I know what happened. A lot of things may have been true to an extent of what was said, but there was definitely going to for a certain amount of time. And I did not lose touch with reality, but I did lose touch with my memory a lot. And nobody mentioned that and that maybe it wasn't that I had lost touch with reality, but maybe I was being affected by the seizures, which I was. And nobody ever mentioned that in any of the situations. Well, the next thing I know, what I can remember is being locked out of the apartment except for my own. My child was not in my apartment. He was not with me. And I didn't know where my fucking baby was. Excuse my French. I didn't know where he was. I was locked out of the apartment that he was in. And I asked, where's my baby? And I asked several times, where's my baby? And I was told that I couldn't see my baby. And
I want to pause for one second. Who is this interaction with?
Kevin and his family.
Okay.
His mother, his stepfather, his sisters, his brother, all of them.
Okay.
They had my baby in Kevin's mother's apartment and would not let me see him, near him, or tell me where he was. And they had me locked out. Okay? Now, the next thing I know, I've got cops at my door. I've got my sister tricking me and taking me to the hospital, saying that I need to get checked because she's worried about my health and blah, blah, blah. And I thought she was worried about the seizures I had. She dropped me off at the hospital. Next thing you know, I got a cop sitting outside my door. My sister left me there. She was gone. Promised she wouldn't leave me, and she did. And the next thing you know, I'm in the loony bin after staying to be observed for a couple days. Still, no mention about the seizures that I had. And there was a mandated reporter that was right there when I had the seizures, and he didn't say a damn thing either. Next thing I know, I'm brought up in being held for about 5 days, I believe it was, and then I was released. Well, I get home, I'm not even home for 24 hours. I came home, my house was destroyed, I cleaned it. 24 hours later, I'm back in the loony bin, this time for a retreat. Cops come to my house, dragging me by my hoodies, dragging me by my hair, in my freaking home, where they had no warrant and no reason to take me, but yet I had also North 16 and Human Services at my door, deliberately provoking me and trying to make it so that I end up having to go away. You don't do that to somebody who just had a baby. Anybody, anyway, you don't provoke people to send them away. They're either with it or they're not. Okay, I'm with it and have been for a long time. And I don't appreciate being treated the way that I was. My baby, like I said, that was traumatizing. I was still bleeding from having my child, from giving birth to him, the whole time that I was away. Okay, every day I cried because I wanted my baby. They took my medicine from me cold turkey, stopped it all. All of my meds were completely stopped. And then they, as soon as they took me away, they stopped giving me my medicine and told me that I had to get my mind right. In an unfamiliar scene, for one, where I'm having PTSD episodes because I have them when I go to hospital, stay in hospital settings. I feel trapped and I feel like I'm incarcerated again. I have PTSD. Yeah. And they left me in a hospital setting in a tiny room. They had me in a back where they call it the quiet room. They had me back there, all good, where it wasn't all good.
This is at Brattleboro, right?
Yes. And they would not even let me out on the floor with the other patients. And I wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, I was forced to take medication that I wasn't comfortable taking. They did not give me back my Vyvanse or anything else that I was normally taking. They put me on a sedating medication that was supposed to stabilize my mood. And it made me sick. I started bleeding with my Crohn's. I told them that. And they kept insisting that if I didn't take these pills, I wasn't going home to see my baby. So I had to hurt myself to go home to be with my baby. I had no other choice.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the nuance